Did you actually, verbally and intentionally try to summon a demon?
Totally valid question. Answer, no.
Okay.
There's a difference between joking about a demon, like just making a random off-the-cuff joke, and the process of trying to summon a demon.
I get that if one were to maybe go into the mythology of what that would look like, that it would probably be quite involved. I'm just wondering if when you were down there doing your antagonizing thing, did you say, hey, any D words out there, you can come and visit me, blah, 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 and then matchsticks and stuff started falling?
I can guarantee you that I did not say to any demon that they could come and visit me.
Did you say they could come and visit me?
At both the Astor Theater and the Queens County Museum, Holly and I had experienced direct and frightening encounters with something that we couldn't explain. But in a forerunner of things still to come, Dillon Garland had potentially experienced an even more subtle and mysterious form of contact.
Because I was kind of joking around with, dreams and stuff like that, and I was joking. And I said something along the lines of, hey man, do you want to dream of me? Which I know sounds weird in hindsight. But then you said, I actually did dream and you were in it last night. So what was this dream?
Okay, so, last night we had the weird stuff go on at the Queens Museum. So, usually whenever I don't sleep, or I don't dream during my main sleep, it's when I wake up and fall back to sleep that I always have the weirdest dreams that I ever have.
Weird.
And it's bizarre. So this morning, still thinking about, because we were up till like 6 a.m. talking about this, looking at the footage, and I was going through everything. So I had a dream that was basically us doing what we've been doing for the past couple of days. We've been ghost investigating, and it was in this room that was kind of shaped like a lighthouse. Not quite round, but
okay.
That's 5 or 6 sides. And we were trying to get someone to communicate or talk to us, and then it got aggressive. And I remember the dream, right before I woke up, I got lifted in the dream. And then I woke up, and I went to get water because I wanted to calm myself down. But that was like, it immediately got aggressive.
After a day off to get some much-needed rest, the team traveled to the location of our next investigation in Shelburne, Nova Scotia, the historic and supposedly haunted Cooper's Inn. Built in 1784 by Loyalists in the aftermath of the American Revolution, the building was restored in the late 1980s as a place where history now meets hospitality. Prior to the restoration, however, in what was soon to reveal itself as more than just a coincidence, Dillon's grandparents lived in the building in what was then a private residence. As his grandmother walked through the inn with Dillon, who was visiting her old home for the first time, she described to him in vivid detail what it had looked like years ago. But when Dillon ventured up to the 3rd floor, which is now the inn's premier suite, he saw something that he immediately recognized, even though there was no way it should have been familiar to him. Like a vision from beyond, he found himself standing in the room from his dream.
So the dream I told you about the other night.
Mm-hmm.
So we were standing in a spot filming, and that what was in my dream I described to you as a bit of a circular room. And I was standing about here, filming you guys, and usually my dreams are POV, like most dreams are. I was seeing myself, I wasn't seeing myself, I was seeing through my own eyes up until something lifted me. And then I was watching myself at an out-of-body.
So who were you filming?
You and Holly. Everybody was here. The crew was here. Jim, Holly, Kim, Chelsea. Everybody was
So
here.
all of us. Okay. And so you were standing here filming that way.
Yep.
So we're all out there. And then all of a sudden in your dream, you were out there? No, you were here.
I was watching myself.
So it was if you were here with your camera filming us, and then as if there was another you over here filming you, and this you levitated or floated or
I
whatever.
don't know if levitated is the word, but I was lifted.
You were lifted. So was it kind of like, or was it like,
It was pretty quick and aggressive.
right?
It didn't, whatever it was in my dream,
Yeah.
didn't want me here.
The,
And when I walked up here, because when we got here, I wanted to film some B-roll.
Right.
When I came down to you, and the second I saw this area, this roundish room,
right.
clicked.
So like, boom, this is what I saw in my dream.
I looked over and I immediately said, "That's it." Like to the detail.
You want to know something about this room? Seriously, you're a good friend. I don't know whether I should tell you something about this room. I think I'm obligated to tell you. So I took a walk through the house first when we got here with David, the owner. So he gave me all the rooms and he said, they've never had anything happen to them while they've owned the house. It's always been guests or people that have reported, or stories like your grandmother, when people would live here before. David said all the places that people would report experiences were friendly, or they go, hey, that was cool. They come out, and by the way, is your house haunted or something after staying in the inn? Kind of cool. Nothing, nothing malevolent at all, with one exception. Here, guy who was on his honeymoon apparently was extremely freaked out because there's 2 bedrooms over there. I assume because he's on his honeymoon, he and his wife were staying in the same bedroom, but I can't vouch for that. Don't know how he rolled. But he apparently told the inn owners that he was completely weirded out. It was a very malevolent presence, did not want him here, and he did not feel inclined to stay. So that, and they said that's the only place, it's the only person that's ever reported that kind of thing to them, at least. So, up here.
Great.
Yeah, how's that make you feel?
Uneasy.
Yeah, well, you know what's going to happen tonight.
You're gonna put me up here alone.
I am indeed. Well, you know what? I'm going to put you up here. Whether you're alone or not, that's your call. But I'll come up here with you if you want. At least to start, and then we'll see how you feel.
Okay.
All right. So, wow. Dream Dillon. Yikes. Okay.
Okay, Dylan, I'll watch you on the closed caption.
Well, hopefully you're the only one watching me.
All right, so let's take a look at the footage that we just shot because we put our production manager and accountant in charge of actually shooting the footage. So it's probably a good idea to make sure that it turned out all right.
I did fine on the camera the other day.
Yeah, all right, fine. Just
No offense, Jack.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just
not
my
taking-
name on the director of photography. I gotta
We're
make sure.
professionals. We
Kind of curious.
okay. Dylan's a professional.
Yeah.
I just want to see what it looks like.
Ready?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, that's nice. That's still you though, right? Yep.
Yeah. No, I forgot to turn that on, so I clicked it on.
There we go. Good. And boom, boom.
Yeah, sweet. Okay.
Okay.
So,
I look chubby.
so you're really thinking it's
Totally.
together,
Camera has 10 pounds.
which is like a dream.
I still look chubby. It's like 20 pounds.
Might not be the camera.
Okay, vaguely. Where I kind of mentioned that there was a place that I saw
Hey.
that we were kind of filming in, and at the end of it,
What is that?
Is that, damn it. Oh, no, that's the camera mic, right?
No, that's the road mic I have here.
Right, but that's not you.
Yeah, that's not me. I did not pick that up.
So all our audio is good?
Yeah, everything I got didn't sound like that at all.
When was the last time you put a battery in?
This morning.
Fresh?
Fresh battery this morning.
Okay, then that, because that sounds like a battery.
But even if it was dying or died, it would cut out. I wouldn't be able to hear you.
Right,
I
so
wouldn't be able to hear me.
It's actually still working.
There's just static overlaying it.
Well, you can hear the voices in the background.
Yeah, that's true. It's still, yeah, we're still getting something through the mic.
Has that happened before with this camera?
No.
Has that ever happened to you at all?
No.
It's never in my 20-year career have I heard something like this.
It cuts out. If it's gonna die, it's gonna die.
Gone.
It started off loud, it's gone down a little bit, but it's consistent now.
It just faded in. That was weird. Like the way that it came in, it didn't just go. It
Here,
was.
can you stop and play it back to the point where it popped in?
Yes, but
You just want to see.
I want to see if
let
it
roll?
stops.
Okay.
It's like changing.
It's changing.
It's changing pitch.
It's smoothing.
It's almost like it's hissing now,
yeah.
like a
It's
snake.
smoothed out. It was rough before, it's smoothing out now.
That is weird.
I can't hear us at all anymore.
No.
Yeah, we're totally gone. And this is the point where you're describing the levitating bit, or and we're getting to the malevolent part of the story.
Changing.
Just changed there. Oh, that was a big change.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, right. That's crazy. 20 years, never seen anything like that, including shooting previous ghost shows and all sorts of documentaries about weirdness and stuff.
No. I've never heard static like that before. I've heard constant static. I've heard loud static before. I have never heard static that basically had character to it.
That's exactly had character to it. Oh, yeah. Dillon and I ran multiple checks on our equipment until we were certain that everything was working properly. But we still couldn't explain why it had failed in the first place. Was something, or someone, trying to send us a message? Or was it all just a weird coincidence? As Jim relayed to Kim what had been happening with the equipment, I remained on the third floor until I heard Chelsea call out for me. I found Holly investigating one of the rooms on the second floor, and we went to find out what was happening with our sound person.
Okay, so you had something happen here just after we had dinner. We came back up here. Can you walk me through what happened, Chelsea?
Yeah, so basically I was coming up to get a light to set up downstairs. So I walk into the room and I bend down like this to find the light. And as I'm messing around with the light, the window here in back of me, I saw something in the window. And it was out of the corner of my eye. So I was thinking, oh, that must be a tree or something moving because it was so windy out. So I thought it was really windy. So as I'm looking up to see if it's the tree, I realized there's no tree and that something passed through the window, like next to the window.
So you came through the window, by the window?
It was more like by the window. It seemed like it was moving pretty intensely to the wind. And then when I realized there was nothing there, I was like, what could that have been?
Okay, and then we had a discussion about that. So I think you are aware about this room in that particular window.
I am.
But I'll go over it again anyway. We were speaking to Raymond earlier today here in Shelburne. He actually saw a full-body apparition of a woman in this window while he was outside working one day. He looked up. She was looking down at him. He thought maybe he was seeing things. Looked back, and she was gone. So this is the window that he did see her in. And so you're saying you came up in here to get something out of the room that we're using to store everything, and you saw something out of the corner of your eye in the window.
Yeah.
Do you have any theories about what it could be?
Honestly, I have no clue. Like, I thought it was just, like, literally something in the wind. And then once I looked, there was nothing there. So it was bizarre. to me.
I'm just trying to think. Hair,
When I bend down to look at stuff, I
Yeah.
usually do this.
tuck it.
Yeah, so nothing goes down
Yeah.
in my vision or anything. So that's what I did.
Okay.
I didn't have any hair kind of fly next to my eye.
Yeah, window wasn't open. There's nothing flying around.
No.
All the windows up here should be locked.
Should be.
Quick question for you, Chelsea. Did you hear anything when you saw something out of the corner of your eye?
Not really. I just heard the wind. That's why I thought it was a tree or something moving to it. So that's all I heard. I didn't hear anyone knocking or anything. So, and no one was on the floor either, which is weird.
And Chelsea, it went by back and forth?
Kind of. It was like, if here's the window, it went like this.
Oh, that's lovely. That's good, actually. I was thinking bird flying by, but no.
No, it was there for a while until I looked up, and then it was gone.
Just for my own sake, was it inside
No,
or outside?
it was outside.
Okay.
It was outside. I felt like something was looking in. So, again,
You felt watched?
I felt watched, but I didn't feel like it was trying to come at me. I felt comfortable, but I did feel something was there watching me.
Earlier, not that long ago, we were sort of standing there, and I asked you the same question. When I asked you to stand in there and say, "What do you feel when you're standing there?" And you told me, "What'd you feel?"
So, yeah, when we first came up, there is a sense of unease in this area. It's a creepy stairwell, let's be honest. However, moving into the space, I wanted to stop and look up. And then I feel kind of like the trepidation or fear of a small child. Not me personally feeling it, but that's the sense that I get from the space, which is a little specific, but that's kind of what it feels like to me.
So like an external, because when you said that, I thought, do you feel afraid? And you said, no, it was like something else, like another feeling, somebody else feeling afraid.
Yeah. Actually, Sandy did talk about being afraid of this as a child, but I mean, if I were a child, then yeah, this would scare the crap out of me. It's creepy looking, right? So,
Right.
Nope, not cool. Don't like that.
What happened? What?
The REM was going off.
Oh, it's just the electronics, I'm sure.
Hold on, Paul.
No, it's not just that.
What? Uh-oh. Whoa. Coming through.
All I'm gonna tell you a story is we're filming this.
Yep, coming through. Sorry, coming through. We were coming up to tell a story, but coming up here, Remy has
This
started.
room was full of it for me. That's what happened
So
earlier.
when I was walking up here and you guys were going down the stairs,
Yep.
I looked at Chelsea because I started smelling something. And I told Chelsea, it smells like my grandfather's barn. But the second I pointed
I'm
to
telling you, that thing goes nuts for me.
the second I pointed to
I don't
the
think it's
label,
going nuts for you.
Whenever I'm around it, it goes crazy.
No, I'm not saying. I think it's going nuts, not necessarily in a bad
Dillon,
way.
yeah.
For you.
it went crazy. It went green, then blue, then like it was
Yeah.
as if something was walking past it.
don't stand in front of it, Paul.
Yeah, but
You're
you
blocking
can
the
walk
other-
past it and it doesn't go off. I walked past it 4 times, it didn't go off in
Like-
that spot.
The 6 days we've been doing this, I haven't seen it do that.
Yeah.
Not unless.
He wants
timing.
nothing to do with me. Just doesn't care about Paul at all.
If
Whoa.
there's a Cecil here, can you make that happen again
It's
in a
still going.
big way? Make it big as you can, get as close as you can. And talk to us.
Wow.
Talk as loud as you can. This is the only room I was curious about.
He used to live here too.
He used to live here.
He lived
You never told me that.
with him and my grandmother.
Oh, right, of course, that
They
makes
were still
sense.
together.
Holly's doing some sort of EMF test on our meter now.
Nothing, right?
All right. Everybody else, you two guys, if you could step behind.
Do you want me to hold the camera?
No, I'm going to do
Keep
that.
an eye on that thing.
Whoa. All right,
You
guys.
should not be doing that.
It shouldn't.
Now remember, if there's something there, I'm sending you in. It would be Cecil.
If he's here, he's protecting you.
Well, let's see what happens. Can we hand over? So this is Dillon handing over to me.
Talk to it.
And that shouldn't be doing that?
Not at all.
No.
You
That's,
don't have a mic pack or anything.
that's high proximity.
My phone.
Just say whatever you want to say to him in your head if you have to, but say it.
If Cecil's here, stop. When I was young, did we build a puzzle in your workshop?
Question for you, young friend. Do you want your grandfather to be here tonight?
I think it'd be nice. Some sort of something. Considering I hadn't talked to him for 3 or 4 years before he died.
All right, I'm going to hand you the camera back, all right, Dillon?
Yeah, give me a second.
You okay?
Yeah.
Cecil, if you're here, can you make all the lights stop? Move away from that device.
I'm going to try something. I'm going to turn it off. Wait a few seconds. I'm going to turn it on again and see what happens. Whoop. So you came in, we were coming up, and what was it about the barn? You smelled the barn?
I didn't smell. He had a workshop next to his house.
Right.
Where he had all his tools and everything, and I spent most of my time in there with him, and I got, I don't know how to explain, like a deja vu smell. It's like, okay, that smells familiar.
And you actually said it to Chelsea. It was so...
I asked Chelsea, do you smell anything?
There we go. Well, R2-D2 there. So is that normal?
No!
With the primary activity in the harbor suite seemingly focused on Dillon, Holly and Kim decided to see if there was anything happening elsewhere in the building, while I sat down to talk with my young friend about what he had experienced so far.
When I came up here and I looked at Chelsea and I said, do you smell that? I smelled a very distinctive smell that I haven't smelled in over 10 years. And it was the smell, as I told her, I used the words grandfather's barn. What I meant was his workshop. He was a builder, and I would be there most of the time whenever I was with him. Watching him build, watching him work. He would let me build eventually and all that. So I turned my camera shoulder mount, which has the word Cecil, because it was my first real camera build, and he taught me everything I know about building, so it felt right to name the rig Cecil. As I put my finger down on his name, because I have a little sticker that says Cecil, the REM pod went nuts, and we all ran up and tried to figure out what it was. Once I passed the camera off and once I started interacting with it, it specifically chose, for the most part, green flashed in every once in a while, but for the majority of it, it was yellow and red. Yellow and red make orange. Anybody else, it probably means nothing. He was the biggest NASCAR fan that I knew, and his favorite NASCAR driver was number 20, Tony Stewart, whose car is orange, because he was always sponsored by Home Depot. And I found that very interesting after the fact, because I didn't realize it at the time, but I found it interesting because there was only one color that it didn't actually show, which was blue.
Yeah, so blue, funny. When we did it at Queens County Museum, as soon as I said Mac Tony's name, the one light that was lighting up consistently in a way that it's not supposed to, we again thought maybe it's malfunctioning. It wasn't the flashing lights up here. It was a little light down here, which is a temperature light, and it was continually blue. Now, of all the colors that you would pick for Mac Tony's from that particular spectrum, I can't believe I didn't think of it at the time because I was thinking of a whole bunch of other things. It would be blue because Mac had a long-running, award-winning blog, which is how he became known to most people. And it was called The Post-Human, which if Mac is somewhere out there beyond this life, he has become a post-human, blues. If there was ever a color to be associated with Mac Tony's, it would be blue because of that. So here we have this color thing and happening in ways with the REM pod that, different ghost investigators use the REM pod for other things. The REM pod instructions are probably 2 pages long. We're not talking about something that comes out of MIT here. So, this is not the height of science. What interests me more is how things like that as tools maybe for opening something can be used as just indicators that maybe we're open to that communication. And it's just a lot of these sort of threads that seem to have brought you and me here tonight.
So as everybody knows, I was very uneasy coming here. Like, that's not me playing it up. I just felt weird. And when I got here, and I first walked into this room and I saw the broad daylight, this was the place that I had seen in my dream, I just felt really wrong up in this room until that went off. So when it went off and I was pointing to the name and it went off, Chelsea bailed. And for all intents and purposes, if I'm up here because of the way that I felt about this room all day, I should have been with her. I didn't flinch. I wanted to walk forward. And since then, I've just felt fine up here. And I'm not having anxiety anymore. I feel fully welcome in this room and in this house. And before, I didn't. And I haven't felt that throughout this entire investigation, through the South Shore, Liverpool, everywhere. But here, when it was the strongest feeling of anxiety for me, now I feel better the second that started. Before I even realized that it was orange, before I realized what it could be, I just felt, okay, I feel good and welcome.
As Dillon and I prepared to go film some exterior shots of the inn after our chat, we heard Kim call out to us from downstairs, where she had been writing down a series of words and impressions that had seemingly come to her out of the ether, all of which she felt were somehow related to Dillon.
Hey.
Hey.
Anything?
Okay.
This was apparently my uncle's room.
Oh, okay.
And my uncle and my grandfather were really close, so I figured if you were gonna come up with anything, this would be the place to do it. So.
Okay. Well, maybe you should tell me if any of this makes sense in relation to your uncle or your grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote like a really big smile and a really big laugh, like huge. I wrote an injury, like an injury that was like a break, but not bloody, not bloody like a cut, but some sort of like bone injury. Maybe you broke a bone. Anyway, and I wrote Dunlop, and I wrote.
You wrote Dunlop.
I did.
So what made you think to write Dunlop?
No idea. What makes me think to write any of this?
It just came to your head and you felt the need to write Dunlop down.
It's random thoughts that come with a feeling.
The laughter and the smile?
Yeah.
That was him. To a T. He had a big laugh, he had a big smile on constantly. The injury?
I tied that to you, not to...
You tied that to me.
To you, not to anyone else.
I compression fractured my spine in 2007. There's no blood, there's nothing. It's just a bad back injury. But the Dunlop thing, which stands out. See, I asked you to come down and see if you could figure out any numbers.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. He was the world's biggest NASCAR fan.
Okay.
The fact that without you knowing that, because I specifically didn't tell you that, because I didn't want to influence what you're thinking, because we met 5 days ago. We don't know each other very well. Dunlop is a set of tires that people use in NASCAR. The term Dunlop, which is not a term that anybody would think of offhand.
No.
That's crazy. In a good way. That's pretty crazy. I know it's weird considering we just met and I came in a complete skeptic, but I'm glad you came down here and did this. So thank you.
Thank you. I came in a lot more skeptic too.
Yeah.
And not believing. Yeah.
I didn't know what I wanted to get out of it, but this is a pretty nice thing.
What was that? I absolutely just heard something. Is someone up here? Oh my God, it might have come from upstairs.